Good morning and welcome to our Friday show. On the mark, myself and Shaheel here as usual. We're going to go through this card as best as we can. Hopefully we find a couple of winners. Obviously on our Wednesday show we saw a couple of horses that worked quite well. They are running, so we will mention those throughout the show. Let's start off with race 1, the Fashion Editor Cup, 1850-020. I remember Fashion Editor. I remember racing against him. He was a top horse, and nice to see that a race has been named after Fashion Editor. Right, it is a 020, 1850, probably the hardest sort of race to find winners. Yeah. One of my training shots from Wednesday, Alhamd. I did mention that he'd be running in the 020, 1850. I think he can possibly pull this off. He's got a decent draw. Like I said, it's the first time in over 1850 in 020. He has run over 1850, but that was in 025s, and he put up good performances in that sort of race, and you have to think that this is probably a little bit weaker than what he has taken on. And maybe Alhamd, what's he? He's had 13 runs in Mauritius, yet to win 6 places, and 7 runs for 6 places in South Africa. That's why they're probably a little bit frustrated. Probably thought he would have won by now, Alhamd. But I've looked at him. He's not the biggest sort of horse. He looks like a genuine 020, 025 horse. But probably if he's ever going to win, it's going to be this race.
Yeah, I mean, he's been a pretty disappointing horse, to be honest, because he's by Snitzel, which is one of the biggest sires in Australia. He was with Mike de Kock back in South Africa. He's shown promise. He hasn't really got to Mauritius yet, but like you said, he's been showing some promise as of late because his last 2 starts has been good. Like you mentioned on Wednesday, good work. He's got a nice draw. So 1850, all green lights for him. So let's see how Alhamd goes this time.
Yeah, I just think he has to repeat that penultimate start when he ran second to Napoli. That was a very good run. And Olivier Placé, he's back on board. Yeah. And he probably could pull off this 020 first race. The dangers, probably spun out. He beat 8 Cities. We all saw what 8 Cities did last week. Oh, not last week. Was it last week?
No, 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. Yeah. When he absolutely pounced his field, and I suppose he must have a chance. Manuel Nunes and Spanat have sort of built up a good relationship, so let's see how that goes. And my third choice, I'm going to go with Ice Emperor, purely because he's only had 1 run in 1850 this year. It was a decent run behind Napoli. And if you have a look back at his form, his only win in Mauritius has been over 1850. So he likes a trip. He's going to stay. Unfortunately, a bit of a bad draw, but he does come from off the pace. So that I don't think the draw is going to be too much of a factor. But that's going to be my trifecta in the first race. Alhamd, Spun Out, Ice Emperor. Do you see anything else in the race, or what are your selections?
No, actually, I've got the same selection as you, just not the right order. Actually, Spun Out will be my first choice. He played up a little bit in the gates last time before the start, and that day he was drawn 10. He was racing wide, and the way he finished was, well, he stayed 1 pace, but his 2 wins before that was really good. He's got no problem with the distance. Manuel Nunes jockey in form. So I'm going to go with Spun Out to win. So second, definitely Alhamd, like we mentioned. And then I do agree with you for Ice Emperor. Actually, on his last 5 runs, he has been slow out of the gate. So if tomorrow he jumps on turn, he does have a good dash shot to finish. So he will finish off strongly, Ice Emperor too.
Yeah, see, they are trying pacifiers, if I'm not sure. Is it? No, that's not pacifiers. Sorry, I don't know what that what is that hashtag for? That's the...
Bleed no more.
Okay, all right, so they're not trying pacifiers on Ice Emperor. Right, race 2, 1400 meter benchmark 36. And while I'm holding thumbs for Simon here, Antwerp, he's pulled out his trump card. He's drawn 2. I thought he was a little bit unlucky last time. He was hanging in quite badly, and I reckon to me it looks like everything's in his favour. He's obviously he's better off in the weights with a couple of horses. Well, Notre he's better off in the weights with him. Like I said, trump card drawn 2. They've removed the blinkers, and I'm really I don't think I'm the only one. I think there's a lot of people here that are pulling for Simon to have his first win of the season. I think once he has his first winner, it looks like his horses are sort of starting to run well. Those horses that were suspended, they're about to run soon as well. They're allowed to come back soon. So let's hope that Simon pulls off a win in the second race with Antwerp. I think he's probably the right horse in the race. The fact that he's used his trump card gives me a little bit more confidence, and I'm thinking that Antwerp can maybe pull this out. Royal Resolution, maybe Imran Chisti, you probably might agree with me, pulled the button pushed the button too early last time, and he got run out late by Bonjour Baby. And let's see, he has got a bit of a tough draw to deal with. I don't believe this horse has to be in front. I think even if he sits up second, third, he really showed a tremendous sort of kick from the 500 last time. Way too soon in my opinion, and let's hope that I think if he's given a little bit of a chance, he must be respected as well. Seventh rule, second run syndrome, Shaheel. We have seen quite a lot of the Hirschhorn horses sort of suffer from that second run syndrome. That's the only thing that puts me off. Obviously there was a great run first time out, but a little bit of a worry about that second run syndrome.
Yeah, so am I. Listen, it was a good debut, and there was a lot of talk about him before his debut, and we weren't really convinced about his South African form. He still ran a good run on debut, but he did finish second, but there was 5 or 6 horses which finished on the same line, and that's, look at the winning margin. Even Antwerp finished 5th, but that was only 0.30 length or something behind him.
That's right, yeah.
But I do agree with you. I'm also hoping for Antwerp to break the ice for Simon Jones. He looks to be the right horse in the race, like you said. As per my analysis, he should be in the box seat with that barrier too. He'll be just right there behind the leaders, and if good enough, I'm sure he's going to go on and win the race.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember watching that race last time. I thought he went a little bit quick early on, and I think him and Seventh Rule were sort of like fighting it out up front there. And that's why I think the draw this time, well, he was drawn well last time, but I just think that this race could just pan out for Antwerp, and let's hope that he does pull it off. One other horse I want to mention, Menethrin. I mean, that was such a great debut when he won. They backed him like they knew the result. He's drawn 3. He's back down to a 1400. I think that he must have some sort of chance because he looked like a decent horse when he won.
He did, and he's looking good at track work at the moment. Probably he needed those 2 runs after that win, so now he's back in a. I mean, he's still in a benchmark of 36, but he's got a much better draw this time. He was drawn 10 last time out, so let's keep an eye on number 10, Manataran.
Okay, so what's I suppose I'm going to ask you for a quartet because it's quite a tough race.
I'm going to go with Antwerp. Second, definitely Royal Resolution. I actually like the way that Imran Chisti rides this horse. He should probably not go at the 500, but if he goes at the 300 when he takes that first run on them, I really like the way that this horse can kick for home. And seventh role, definitely we can't eliminate him. And then for fourth, yeah, probably Manataran.
Yeah, I've got exactly the same quartet: 9, 6, 8, and 10. I think I'm going to take that a couple of times. Straight line quartet. Yeah. All right, race 3. It's a 990 benchmark 41, and I really like the look of this horse, Vasco Street Tractor. One of my training shots on Wednesday. I just loved that first run of his over 990. Have a look at his finishing time, 23.01. There's not many horses that have finished the last 400 in that time, even though it is over 990. Obviously, they're going to finish a little bit quicker in the 990. But I like the fact that they've taken the blinkers off as well. You know, they last time, after a terrific run, they slapped him with blinkers on. It was a 1450, maybe second run syndrome.
That incident when he hit the railing post and his jockey lost the stirrup?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, things never went right for him. Yeah. I think he's going to be a lot better this time. You know, if you look at Bye Bye Rocket's finishing times, he's been 2.5 seconds slower. Yeah. And that was a terrific debut. I was a little bit shocked when he got beat, but like you said, things never went his way. I just hope that they don't chase him, though, you know, because he really ran on beautifully on debut when he wasn't chased. And I'd like to see him ridden in the same sort of way, you know. Obviously, drawn 2, he's going to be a lot closer, but without a lot of effort. So let's see how Vasco Street Tractor goes. I think, you know, that run to Edge of the Sun, that great finish of his, if he reproduces that race, he should be quite hard to beat.
That's your opinion. I really like the horse, the number 1, Bye Bye Rocket. He's one of my favorite horses this season, Bye Bye Rocket. It's such a gorgeous animal. Listen, Tuesday morning there was a really nice educational gallop with Manuel Nunes. He gave him 1 or 2 smack. It looks like this horse is coming right now. He's a horse with a lot of potential in the locker. I really like Bye Bye Rocket. In fact, I'm gonna go with him as my banker for tomorrow. Bye Bye Rocket. I think the third run is always the peak run, so I'm definitely going with Bye Bye Rocket. And for second, definitely Vasco Street Tracker. Like you mentioned, we have to ignore that run last time. He had so many things against him. He's definitely going to run a much better race tomorrow. And then for third grade value, he's been a change horse this season. 3 runs for 3 places. I'm sure he'll be right there once again.
Yeah, listen, Bye Bye Rocket, you can't fault his form. He's been green. Terrific run to Dollar Tractor, terrific run to Maximal. Both of them are decent horses in their own rights, and you have to respect Bye Bye Rocket. I'm just leaning towards Vasco. I'm relying on him to run that like he did on debut, and if he does, he's going to be my first choice. But I agree with you 100%. This horse is a decent horse, Bye Bye Rocket, and you can't fault his 2 runs. I think he's just been beaten purely by greenness and inexperience. So, like you say, 3rd run now, he should know what it's all about. And he should run a top race as well. What about Superstitious? He came out and won from a drawn 9 last time. He's drawn 3. He beat AP Strike. Did you give him any chance?
I mean, we must give him a chance. I did mention him last week, actually, on Judah Gallo. He's been working well, but he's up in class now and he faces some seriously stronger horses. Bye Bye Rocket is down from a 51. Vasco Street Tractor is down from a 46, and he's going in class. So let's see how he cope with that division.
Yeah, I think it probably looks like it's going to be between 1 and 3.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. All right. Right, race 4, 1450 benchmark 46. My value bet last time, Eddie Trod Trail. I rate this horse, Shaheel. I think he's a decent horse. He's got some good South African form. I think he's sort of learnt how to race. He was travelling nicely last time, and he gave a good kick to beat a decent horse, Texas Guy. He's drawn 3. Like I said, I believe he's a little bit better than his rating. And I think that he could possibly be the horse to beat in the fourth. When I say possibly, he's going to be my first choice. I'm going to make him my first choice in the 4th race.
So am I. Like you said, he showed a great turn of foot last time out, and like he was always traveling like the winner. I've watched an interview of Sudesh Chauhan. He said that he's a light sort and he doesn't take a lot of work. So they've done the strict minimum with him, but he's looking in great condition. Editarate Trail. He's drawn 3. He's probably going to have the run of the race again. So definitely number 3, Editarate Trail, the right horse in the race.
Yeah, and don't forget that Naresh Jaglal and the Reset Stable are in top form. Yes. I think they've had 7 winners in the last 3 meetings. Well, Naresh has. I don't know if Gilbert's had more than that, but the stable's in good form. I've always been told that always follow a stable when they're in good form. So I'm going to stick with him. Let's have a look at the dangers. Silken Prince. Well, he's done pretty well this since he's arrived here. 4 runs, 2 wins, 2 places, and he beat Cyber Special last time. He's drawn 2. He must be a big threat to Editarate Trail. My training shot Wednesday, Harlan County. He drops down from a 51 to a 46. He's drawn 1. 2nd run after quite a long layoff. That's the only sort of worry. But I also, just like Editarate Trail, I rate this horse, and he's got some decent South African form. He won a good race last year when we both fancied him, when he beat Frederick Quest, and unfortunately things went a little bit wrong for him. But he's on his way back, and I definitely think he's worthwhile chucking into a trifecta or a quartet. And then one horse I want to mention is Captain of the Sea, and the only reason why I'm mentioning it is because when Carl Neisius was down a month or 2 ago, he mentioned this horse to me, and he said, keep an eye on this horse. He really rates this horse, Captain of the Sea. I think that 1,000-meter debut of his, he was sort of pushed early on, and from a bad draw, and I think this time being given a little bit of a chance, he could be in the money as well. But at the end of the day, I'm going to stick with number 3, Editarate Trail. Is there any other horses you want to talk about that you've written down there?
No, actually, like these 2, I do like Editarate Trail for the win, and Silken Princess, the main danger. I thought was a great ride by Manuel Nunes last time when he took that inside run, and Cyber Special was finishing off strongly on the outside. Definitely the biggest danger to Editarate Trail. And Holland County, like you said, this time he's drawn 1, so if he can go to the front, I do think he'll take a lot of catching.
Yeah, he should be able to lead, I think, from that draw. And what else is there really that
not
can
much.
take him on? Yeah.
Not much on paper.
Yep. Okay. All right, race 5, 990, benchmark 61, and this also looks like it's going to be a terrific sprint. Got some decent sprinters here. You can see my book. I had number 1 my first choice, and I scratched it out. I put 2nd choice, and then first choice. I'll tell you something, Roberts Jill would be my first choice. Unfortunate about the draw. He's 3 kilograms better off with Barrack Street this time. He's a top horse. And he would have been my first choice, but unfortunately the draw, I'm now going to lean back to Barrack Street. Yashini Mramdi knows him well. He's ridden him. He's won on him. He's a sound horse now, like we said on Wednesday. You know, Pierre Stradum said that he's striding out so much better. He's unbeaten in the 990. I think he's going to be. I think he's a top little sprinter. This horse, Barrack Street. Go back to his South African form. I think he was a Group 1 winner when he won that 2-year-old race, and he's obviously a decent horse. And the fact that he's sound. That gives me a little bit more confidence, but I'm not going to put him down as a banker. In fact, I don't know if I'm allowed to have 2 first choices, but you know, Rob Shaw always been I've always had a soft spot for him. The fact that he's 3 kilograms better off, I'm going to give him also a big chance here. And then obviously Edge of the Sun, 53.5 kilos on his back. He is 2 kilograms better off with Maximal this time. Maximal's drawn in the bush. Going to be tough for him. So I'm going to make Edge of Sun my third choice. So I'm going, it's going to be, it's hard to split Rob's Jewel and Barrack Street, and then Edge of Sun.
I'm going with Barrack Street for sure. Unbeaten in 3 starts, like we said. He found the 2-year-old form back that he had in South Africa. Yashin knows him well. He's drawn well. I don't think he has to lead. I mean, he never led, but he's got so much pace and he's still got such a tremendous turn of foot, and that's what his biggest asset is, Barrack Street. So definitely a strong first choice, the number 5 Barrack Street. For second, I'll go with Edge of the Sun, mainly because of the weight. I think he's going to have such an advantage over your BMW, your Rob's Jewel. And then for third, definitely Rob's Jewel. He would have preferred a better draw, and probably a 1400 or 1450 would have been much better for him.
Yeah. Okay, race 6, the Hinterland Cup. It's a 1400 meter Group 3. We all remember Hinterland. I remember him very well because he beat me one day on One for the Road, and I got fired on the Monday. So yeah, he was a top horse, the Hinterland. He was a top horse in South Africa. I think he won the Natal Guineas. He came here. He won many races. Then he went off to Dubai. He came back here and beat me, and. Yeah, he's a top horse, and it's once again nice to see a race named after a top horse like Hinterland. Right, it is a 1400 meter. It's a rating 60 plus. Once again, a tough race because we've got 3 classic winners here. Once again, we've got 2 up and coming challengers, and it really looks. It's got the recipe for a great race, and it's quite tough to pick the winner here, Shaheel. I don't know if you are you confident about any particular horse's chances?
No, not really. In fact, I'm going to take a chance and go with a value bet, actually. I was surprised to see Table Bay priced as 6-1, 700 rupees. And I think the Blinkers has done a trick with him, because I was really impressed with that Barrier trial last week. And I see that he's running with the Blinkers. Unfortunately, once again, he's drawn in the bushes. But like I mentioned on last week, with the Blinkers, I think he'll be much more closer to the pace, and that's probably the right thing with him. So I'm going to go with Table Bay as my first choice. To beat Rule the Night, which he's drawn well, he's drawn free, he's got a featherweight. I believe it could come down to these 2, Table Bay and Rule the Night. What about you?
Yeah, I agree with you 100% about Table Bay. That Barrier trial with the Blinkers, it was very impressive. Olivier Placet never moved on him, and he just sort of pulled away, and look, he is a classic winner. He's a top horse from South Africa, a terrific form back in South Africa as well.
Just to mention that South African form, he's won thrice on 1400 meters. And when I went back and checked those comments, they said that his best distance in South Africa was the 1400.
Yep.
So let's see.
Yeah, bit of value there, Table Bay. Obviously, Walltag, excellent win last week. It was a really easy win, and obviously, the question mark is it a little bit too soon, racing 1 week after the other? Listen, Vincent Allett knows what he's doing. He wouldn't run the horse if he didn't think that he couldn't. Yeah, exactly. But that was a very easy win. I think that the margin doesn't really suggest how well he won. So Walltag, you gotta respect him. Obviously, I'm just a little bit worried about the racing one, because I mean he's stepping up. I mean, this isn't a 0.25. He's taking on some big horses here, but he is, in my opinion, he definitely has got the ability. I'm just worried if that run didn't knock a little bit of the edge off him. So that remains to be seen. Obviously, Rule the Night, he's done nothing wrong. He's a top horse, up and coming horse. In fact, he should be unbeaten. He was very unlucky when he got beaten by Viking Trail. Shouldn't have got beat. He's got the draw. He's got the lightweight. You've got to respect him as well. And then one other horse I want to mention is Wooljarine. 2 brilliant runs over 1400 and a mile to White River and Cool at Heart. Probably the 2 best horses on the island at the moment. And he's drawn 2 Manuel Nunes Super Sub. Whenever he picks up these rides in these feature races, he does well. He brings them home, or he's just been beaten. So you got to respect him as well. But at the end of the day, a very tough race. It's a Group 3, and it really looks like it's going to be an exciting race. I'm going to put you. Okay, well you said Table Bay as your first choice. What would be your second and third?
I'm going to go with Rule the Night. He's a special little horse too. And then for third, probably Wooljarine. I mean, I think he finished second last time before they demoted him. He was second or third, and then they demoted him.
That's right, yeah, true.
But Wooljarine, well, like you said, the Super Sub Manuel Nunes, Gate 2. I don't know if he's going to be able to lead with your Al Mariachi in there. So, but I'm sure Wooljarine is going to be in the top 3 or top 4.
Yeah. tough race at the end of the day. But I do agree with Shaheel. Bit of value there with Table Bay with those blinkers. I like the way he worked. Keep an eye on him. Right, race 7, the Armed Guard Cup. It's a 1600 meter benchmark 31, and this is my value bet. Lucky at last, spotted in on Tuesday morning. Terrific run last time when he got beat 2.5 lengths by Mr. Hardy. That was a 1650. It's 50 meters shorter this time. He's drawn 3. It was in a benchmark 36. He drops down to a 31. So a lot in Lucky at last favour. He's run behind 2 decent horses in his last 2 runs, Man from Seattle and Mr. Hardy. And like I said, with the draw, he probably looks like he will lead you. I can't see much taking him on. Yeah, 8 said he's drawn 9. It's going to be tough for him to cross over. Yeah, to cross. I think Lucky at last will probably be gone. I mean, let's have a look what's drawn on his inside. You've got Carlton Heights. He's got a bit of pace. And then obviously Paddington's Luck also got a bit of speed. So it might not be that easy for Lucky at last. But I think if he gets a lead early, I'm going to go with a little bit of value. He's currently 550. From what I could see, and I'm going to put him down as my first choice. Paddington's Luck, you've got to respect him. He jumped from a 9 draw last time. He's drawn 1 this time, and you have to think that obviously there is a turnaround at the weights with a couple of horses like Carlton Heights, but I think that draw might just negate that. And he's an up-and-coming horse, Paddington's Luck, and you've got to respect him. And then my third choice, I'm going Carlton Heights. He ran just a length behind Paddington's Luck last time. He is 2 kilograms better off. He's drawn 2. I think also another horse that's 2 runs in Mauritius behind 2 decent horses, Master Spain and Paddington's Luck. So I'm going to go with him as my third choice. But Lucky at last, he'll be my value bet for the afternoon.
I'm actually going to go with Paddington's Luck because he was quite impressive to me last time, not the way he won. He's drawn 1, and that's a little bit of a worry to me because he comes from off the pace, and I just fear that he might encounter some traffic problems, but I'm sure Nourish is going to take all his precaution that is required. Just his wish really caught the eye last time out. He was flying, absolutely flying on the inside run with 62 kgs. He's much more better at the weights this time. Jano bought it in the irons. If he can reproduce that same kind of form of the same kind of foot, he's going to be right there. And I agree with you with your value bet Lucky at last. I think he's going to be up front, a prominent position. If he's good enough from there, he should be able to run a good race.
Yep. Yeah, Chester's Wish, he's one of those horses that you always get a run for your money, always puts in a good performance. Like you said, ran on strongly with 62, must have a chance as well. Okay, well, that's the 7th race. That's my value bet. Let's hope he comes home. Okay, 8th race, Lucky last, 1400 meters, 0.26. I've written at the top of my book here, field for pick 8. I mean, you'd hate to be coming into this if you have got it. The pick 8 is going to be massive this week. It's going to, I mean, I think there was a 4 million carryover, or probably a little bit more. So it's going to be massive. And I'd hate for you to come into the last race with 1 or 2 horses in this field because it's a tough race. And there are a lot of newcomers. Just to remind you that number 5, Machina, has been withdrawn, and number 11, Bell's Apostle, comes in. So take out 5, who ran a good race first time out, but he is taken out. Let's get back to our selections. I really like the look of number 7, Stone Tiger, and I'm surprised that not a lot of people have spoken about this horse. He's had 2 runs, both behind Zen Zero, 1400, 2.5 lengths behind Zen Zero, then last time in a 990. Look, he has got a very poor draw to deal with, unfortunately, but I see they have slapped the blinkers on him, and that could maybe be in Stone Tiger's favour. Right, Senior's Guest, he put up a very good barrier trial recently. He's got some decent South African form. I just like the way that he barriered. I think it's a weak sort of field, and he's a newcomer, so obviously we don't know exactly what he's going to produce first time out, but he was placed 4 times in South Africa, and this field he could find a place as well. Dark Force, he's going to be drawn 7 now with the emergency acceptor, but he's one of those horses I think he has to lead. And that's all going to depend on that. And then one horse I just want to mention is Rajam Den's horse, Malson. He's tumbled down the ratings. I mean, it's hard to believe at the beginning of the season he ran in a rating of 36. He's now running in a 26. So Malson, yeah, he's getting on a little bit, but on his day, he's not too bad. And in a field like this, he could place.
Good. Actually, my first choice is the horse you haven't mentioned, the number 9, Silver Rock. He showed his good turn of foot last time when he jumped on turn with the arbors. He's drawn 1 this time. He was drawn 2 last time. Probably he likes the inside gates. He looks to be jumping well with Shaheel Ayadassen. If he can reproduce that same run of last time, I'm sure he's going to be right there, Silver Rock. For second, I do like Stone Tiger. He just has the draw against him. His free run this season has been promising. He can build up on on that. And then I did like Machina, but unfortunately he's got scratched, so I'm going to go with Sino's Guess. Like you said, very impressive trial Tuesday morning with the blinkers. He runs with this equipment. He's still a maiden in South Africa. He got beaten odds on in the Work Riders Plate, so but he does have some potential about him, this horse. The 1400 meters should be nice for a debut run, so I'll go with Silver Rock, Stone Tiger and Sino's Guess.
Okay, well, there we go. That's a wrap. But then, Shaheel, I'll put your head on the block. What's your banker for the afternoon?
I really like this Bye Bye Rocket. He's such a promising animal. I'll go with him.
Okay, I'm going to go for. I know it's always tough to bank a horse in the 0-20s, but I think I liked his work on Tuesday. Everything is pointing towards him picking up his first win. So I'm going to go Alham to win. My value bet will be Lucky at Last. Let's hope we are lucky at last, and hopefully
we can book a good table, maybe in Grand Bay.
Yeah, that'll be
Bay.
Yeah, brilliant. All right, well, there we go. That's it. We will be back next week, Wednesday, for our Jeu de Gala, and we will be on air this evening. It was our radio. So tune in there between 5 and 6. We will be talking about the card even a little bit further. Thank you very much for joining us. Remember, next week, Wednesday, Jeu de Gala. We'll catch up with you then. Goodbye.